We are Jack's got a big debate competition. He's really into debate, and he's actually quite good at it. And Mrs. W is judging, so we're loading up the whole family, and we're going to go up there. So please keep him in your prayers. Pray for him that he does well. I'm super excited to watch him. That's something that I never knew much about, but that's what's fun about having kids and you have to be careful, because I think I made the mistake early on thinking that Jack was going to be a clone of me and share the same interests and desires that I do, and I made an effort to always, I had him out cutting with chainsaws, I had him on dirt bikes, I had him do all these things, and a few years ago I finally started to realize, he's becoming his own person, and he doesn't share all these interests, and if you see someone, but he would do them, but if I saw him doing things, maybe not necessarily because he wanted to do them, but because he just knew that it was important to me. And that's fine, and there's definitely a place for that. I think that's good character if you're willing to do that for someone that's important to you. But you also, on the other side, you want to recognize when someone's doing that. And so that's why, a lot of folks were critical and like, oh, why do you play video games, and video games are this and that? Well, I'm not interested in arguing that with you. You can have your own opinion on it. But for me, whatever side you fall on, it gave me something to do with my son that he enjoyed, that he could share with me, that he could be the expert on. And I realized that how tedious would it be if you're going to come out with your dad in the shop and all he can do is just, show you and point out things you're doing wrong and things you don't know how to do. Is that a fun working environment? I thought back on my own experience, and I remember, no, it was not. It was not, and I had a whole lot of hard time working with my dad for that very reason. I had nothing to offer, and you almost feel somewhat emasculated when you can in that position. So it's important, I think, for Jack to be able to do some things that he's really good at. And he's better than his dad at, and that is definitely a case when it comes to the games. But I plod along, and I put an effort in, and I don't enjoy it as much as he does. But I just enjoy that I have time with him, and that I can experience his world and things that he's into, and meet his friends. And I'll tell you what. I mean, this is a whole video in itself. Before I entered into the world of video games, and now this is someone coming from. This is a complete tangent. It should be a whole nother video, but here we go. I had a video game console growing up. I had the Atari 2600. I remember I got it on Christmas, and I played it. I mean, I wore out controllers. I understand. I was a gamer back in the day, as lame as that was. You actually had to go and put quarters in machines back then. But I had that, and I played it thousands and thousands of hours. And so, but after I grew up, I never really was into video games or got into it. So I had a little bit of a learning curve, you might say. When Jack set me up on my very first computer game was Apex Legends, tried to play on a keyboard, going from a joystick, right? Now, I'm not saying I didn't, play a Nintendo from time to time. I'm not completely a Luddite, but I definitely not checked out on it. So it was sad, I was at a place where I couldn't even, not only could I not contribute to the game, but I was actually a tremendous liability. So that, I've slowly tried to change that, but that, when we played, that puts Jack in a very different position where he can be the expert, and he can teach me and explain to me. And I think that's been good for I think it's been good for our relationship. Now, I'm not prefacing that we're equal as a father and son relationship, and I'm not saying, I don't necessarily think it's a good thing to be best friends with your kids either. I think that can be destructive. But there's no reason why you can't show them respect and acknowledge the fact that they are people as well, and they have their own pride and they have their own passions, and the same as you do. And we lose sight of that sometimes because they're kids. And just remember, they're not you. I've said this before, and it's a little corny, but the kids really are like the arrow. The quiver on your back are your children, and your life raising them is the draw. And you can draw and you can aim as carefully as possible to hit the mark and hit the target, but once you release that arrow, it's no longer in your control. You aimed it, you pointed it the best you could, and hopefully it'll find the mark. But there's a lot of things out there that can change the direction of the arrow. You know, a strong wind, a rain, a weather, a branch, a beast, lots of things, as those of us who have archery hunted very well know. So, well, take it for what it's worth. The wisdom of a professional homeowner is not worth a lot, and you get what you pay for. Thanks for watching. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers. If you wouldn't mind, take a moment, click the thumbs up on this video, and I don't know where I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe we'll be vlogging from the road. Thanks for watching. Keep us in your prayers.